good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. Beautiful autumnal day, crisp, cold, slightly foggy this morning, but the sun's come through. It's really, really bright. I've just done the school run. Beautiful day. So, right, okay. Today, slightly different. It's kind of a review and more like the beginnings of a new adventure, shall we say. Recently, I acquired a bundle of samples from the house of Xerjoff. And, you know, this is a very sort of high quality house making lots of different fragrances for different situations. They have a few different collections, you know, all of which are well known for their quality and, you know, wonderful ingredients and beautiful craftsmanship, that kind of thing. Excuse me. Now, out of them all, one has had quite a profound effect on me and my relationship with fragrance. And that one was this one, which is Xerjoff, and it's called Zafar. And that's the box it came in. And here's the vial of juice. I'm sorry, I'm very conscious that it's very bright, and I'm hoping that this is coming across all right, because it's quite an exciting situation for me to be in. Now, Zafar was released in 2012, and this is a phenomenally expensive fragrance. This costs at the moment in the UK £267 for a 50ml bottle. So just in terms of cost alone, I was quite excited to see, you know, or to smell what £267 of, you know, a small amount of liquid, what that actually smells like. The notes, basically this was released in 2012 and the perfumer was Chris Maurice. The notes are neroli, rose, oud, which we will come to, green apple, pepper, white flowers, cedar, vetiver, incense and musk. Now, when I sprayed this, I have to be completely honest, it was way too challenging for me. It was like I sprayed it and thought, oh, what? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. So I gave up on it quite quickly. I just thought the barnyard, you know, this fabled and famous barnyard fecal animalic smell, just that's all I could get out of it. And I just thought, this is unpleasant. And I didn't scrub it off. I left it on my hand and I just thought, oh, that doesn't smell very nice at all. I found myself constantly smelling it though. So the following night, I've got a lot of samples to get through and a lot of perfumes to smell, but I came straight back to it. I sprayed it again. The following night I sprayed it again. The following night I sprayed it again.
In 1975, no one died. In 1976, no one died.
And I've become quite addicted to the smell of it. The barnyardy fecal oody smell is incredibly potent in this, and it took a long time and quite a few wears to start finding the other nuances, the other notes, the other accords within this fragrance, and they are all there, but you do have to look for it. And that got me thinking, what does, you know, I've got probably 30 or maybe 40 perfumes with oud in the title. And it suddenly made me realise that I don't really think any of them actually smell of real oud. I've been wearing perfume since the late 80s, and, you know, I have a fairly broad knowledge of perfumery. And then it dawned on me, I'd never actually smelt real oud. I've smelt Western interpretations of it. I've smelled Middle Eastern interpretations of it. I've got designer fragrances with oud in the title. I've got high-end niche fragrances with oud in the title. Whether they contain real oud, and now I started to suspect, do they? Do they actually have oud in them or not? I don't know. So I'm also very lucky to have some very knowledgeable friends around me, especially in the perfume industry, or the perfume world, should I say, or fragcom as it's often called. So I just wanted to quickly say, shout out to Penn again, and a big thank you to Sproti and to Josh and some of the other people that I've spoken to. But I was suddenly left thinking, I absolutely know, you know, I review on YouTube, I work with Rich for this channel. We like to give a good, honest appraisal of what we're doing. And I've talked about oud many times. I've used all the terms that you'd expect with oud, but I've got no idea what real oud smells like. So I spoke to some very knowledgeable people, Sproti and Penn and the others, and it led me to this, which is Ensar Oud. Now, Ensar Oud is, I think he's American originally, but he's obviously sort of quite well revered and known in the oud world. And in 2004, he started a business called Oricent, which in 2012 became Ensar Oud. And what he does is he sort of has people from all around the world that scour the world for the finest ouds, if you like. And then he's like a creative director that puts together these wonderful oud oils and fragrances for people like us to wear. Now, what is oud? Oud comes from the Aquilara tree. When it becomes infected, it basically fights back, releases some kind of sap. I don't know the ins and outs of it too much. And this becomes agar wood or oud. Now, the Aquilara tree generally comes from Borneo, New Guinea, Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Malaysia, India, Philippines. So these are the countries that you would associate with the production of oud. Now, I'm a complete novice, and this is basically the beginning of my journey into oud. I've decided that I needed to start to understand it more and to smell the real stuff. So I got some tiny sample vials from Ensar Oud with the help of some friends to get me there, and it, you know, its packaging's great. Actually, this all came from Jordan, and we really are in a world where everything gets moved around. So I want to discover more about oud. So I bought some samples of real oud to try. And what I'm going to do with the Questioning Sense channel is we're going to continue to do our normal kind of reviews and offer opinion on fragrances and stuff. But what I'm also going to do is start trying to give some more of an opinion and some more informed knowledge on the ouds that I'm trying, and how they smell compared to, you know, what we're told oud smells like in Western perfumery. So today I'm wearing one actually, and let me find it and I will talk a little bit about it. This one that I've got on today is called Kusma, and there it is. It's a tiny little vial of oud. And again, this, because I'm such a novice, this has been such a almost comical experience, because I've had to learn how to apply oud. I'm so used to, like most of us, just spraying a perfume and, you know, away you go. With oud, there's so much more to it, because for a start, you're swiping it on. And I was going to film myself doing the application for you to see, but because I'm such a novice, I'm so cack-handed and so clumsy at it, it was an absolute disaster. So when I get a bit more proficient at the art of applying oud, then I'll put some footage up of me applying it, because I'm assuming quite a lot of us aren't going to be oud experts, and there's no way on earth that I'm ever going to be an oud expert when you have people that have been involved with oud for years. For some ouds, are 20 years old. People have got collections going back 20 years. I mean, this one here, this Kusma, was made in 2018, and the oud that's used in it comes from Cambodia and comes from Thailand. So what I wanted to try and do is find out if this opening in Zafar is real or not. Now, of the 5 or 6 little samples I've got, I've only had a tiny sniff of a few of them. And I've only worn Kusma. Kusma's the only one I've actually worn properly. And yeah, it bloody well does. That Xerjoff, that note in the Xerjoff is amazingly accurate to some of them. They're all so different. It's such a, oud's kind of surrounded with spiritualism and sort of mystery and romance, and it's quite a magical note. It's so, what I've learned in a very short period of time is it's so variable. It can, from the different parts of the world, it will have different properties. It will smell differently. So this is a journey, and hopefully one that you're going to come with us on and learn a bit more yourself about the magical properties of oud, because it's a real kind of rabbit hole to fall down, and it's something that I'm really excited about and I feel quite passionate about. So when I swiped quite badly as well the first time. This Kusma, this Cambodian, this Thai oud. I wasn't expecting what I got. And also I learnt so much about how oud changes on your person. I'm wearing it at the moment, and this is a sweet, fruity, still animalic, but not quite as fecal or as barnyardy as I was expecting it to be. It's woody, but the wood is an amazing sort of, it feels like someone's sawn like a really old hardwood lump of wood and ground it down and then soaked it in a sherry, and the fruitiness is that rich and ripe and potent and powerful, and then you put it on and it just wafts up, and it's amazing, and it's quite heavy, and then a couple of hours in it becomes so light and still quite fruity but fresh, and the wood sort of changes, and it's utterly intoxicating. I've not worn any of these ouds out, and as I say, Kusum is the only one I've really actually worn properly, and I've only worn it indoors because it seems to me quite a personal thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I could ever sort of give up my normal perfumes to wear oud as instead of, unless I find some kind of magic oud that's going to change that for me. But this was such an and it is such an enjoyable experience. It's quite a selfish experience, I think. It's one that you find yourself constantly smelling yourself, because the oud, it changes so much during its duration. And it seems to last in different ways. You may think it's gone, and then your body will get warmer and it starts to come alive again, and it changes yet again. It's utterly fascinating. So this is Kusma, and this is a 2018 Cambodian Thailand blend, and this is a beautiful fragrance. I thoroughly recommend that you try this. I can't say that this is going to be for everybody, because I think it is a challenging scent. And one that you're going to have to, I don't know, it's a bit like eating olives, I think, or drinking wine. Both are revered by people that like wine or people that like olives. But when you first, I remember my first sip of red wine, I didn't like it at all. Now I love wine. My first eating of olives, I couldn't bear it. It's taken me 20 years to eat olives. And I think oud is going to be the same. That opening blast from all of them seems to be very challenging, but highly addictive. You want to come back into it. So for my first tiny baby steps down the road of oud, I've found this Kusma from Ensar Oud, and it's lovely, and I've got a tiny sample of it, and I don't want it to run out. When I've come back from work, I normally wear my fragrance that I'm going to wear to work, and I come home from work, have a soak in the bath, and I'm reaching for it to apply it straight away, because I'm quite excited about putting it on. Listen, this is a bit of an all over the shop kind of review, but as I say, this is an introduction from me to oud and the beginning of a journey. I want to have more knowledge on oud, and I want to know what we're getting in Western perfumery that professes to be oud, and I want to smell as much oud as I can, so I can then have a much more informed opinion on what we're wearing and what we're being told is oud. And so far, my experience is very limited, but what we're getting, apart from in that Xerjoff, to what oud smells like, to what comes across in Western perfumery, we're talking miles apart. So the more I know, the more I'll come back and tell you. I'm sorry this is a bit of a strange review, but I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you found something out of it. Please have a look at Ensar Oud's website. It ships worldwide, and you can get some tiny amounts for really good money. If you're buying a lot of oud is very expensive, so be careful. This could be a hobby that's going to be financially crippling, so be careful with it, and don't buy lots and lots. Find yourself some Facebook groups and find some sources of information with regards to oud, because it's fascinating, and I think it's utterly intoxicating. Quite amazing stuff. Oh, and if you get a chance, sample Xerjoff Zafar, because this is an amazing fragrance. It's incredibly expensive, so don't blind buy it. See if you can find a store that carries the range or carries the collection, and have a smell of it. and try and get a sample, because I think it's a fascinating fragrance. Listen, thanks very much for your time, guys. We will be back soon with more kind of normal reviews, and what we'll do is we'll run the sort of Oud Odyssey along the side, so we'll title the review so you know exactly what you're getting. Listen, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.